don't have my hat. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Picks on the Bluffs. Well, Picks on the Bluff. I am your host, Chris Mark Reed, Richard Reed, as always. Last week we had a bunch of upsets, including the controversial Georgia-South Carolina game and East Carolina beating Virginia Tech. It was an exciting week last week that nobody saw coming. You could also say that about NFL, but we'll get to that in the NFL episode. As always, be sure to go to our Facebook page and like. If you like this, show, please share it and subscribe so you see when the next episode is out, when it comes out. But let's go ahead and get to the picks. Starting, this is week 4 of the college. Yes. Starting with the Thursday night game, we have number 5 Auburn at number 20 Kansas State. So we're going to kick things off with a ranked matchup. SEC versus whatever Kansas State is in. I'm going to have to go with the War Eagle. It might be a closer game than you think. So don't count Kansas State out, but I think Auburn will handle them. Now to the game that's going to be talked about. I don't know much. It was talked about big last year, and then we saw what happened. But number 22 Clemson at number 1 Florida State. This game is it's not going to be pretty if what I think is going to happen happens. But I'm going to have to stick to my guns. You see what I'm wearing? I've got the tiger paw on. I'm going to go with Clemson. I'm probably going to get an L for this one, and I'm already in last place. You can check the standings on our Facebook page. I'm tied for last place, but I'm only like 3 or 4 behind first place. But I'm going to go with Clemson. Maybe they can pull off the upset with our new quarterback. Number 2, Oregon, who had to start out slow in their game last week, but they ended up winning very, very big. But they're playing Washington State this week. If they start out slow again, they should fall from number 2 to number 3. But, you know, the BCS, well, you can't really say BCS anymore because we're not BCS. But whoever is picking them, whoever places them, loves Oregon. But they're playing Washington State. They're going to win big, in my opinion. SEC matchup, we got Florida at number 3 Alabama. There's a hole in the table. We don't really know what Florida's going to do. I mean, Florida's only played one team last week. They've only got one game under their belt. It wasn't and it was Kentucky who they played, and it was also a very controversial game. Did they get that playoff or not? That's the question. But the rest let it go through, and they barely beat Kentucky, who I can't say Kentucky's that great of a team. But I don't think they'll come into Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama. So Alabama beats Florida. Number 4, Oklahoma at West Virginia. West Virginia and Maryland had a good game. A state rivalry, either state border rivalry or in-state rivalry. Can't really know off the top of my head. But that came down to a field goal, and Oklahoma pretty much handled Tennessee in their game. I think Oklahoma gets the win. Texas A&M, number 6 at SMU. Texas A&M with their new quarterback, who is a star like Johnny Football. Although I like Texas A&M's new quarterback's personality a whole lot better. I think Texas A&M gets the win. Another SEC matchup this week, Mississippi State at number 8 LSU. This should be a good matchup again. I can't go into details. I haven't watched any of this team, but I'm going to go with the upset. I'm going to go Mississippi State on this one. Probably another L for me, but you know, I got to go with a few upsets to make this show interesting. East Michigan at number 11, Michigan State. Got to go with Michigan State here. They shouldn't, like I said before, there shouldn't be a close game. Troy at number 13, Georgia. How the mighty have fallen. Don't think Georgia is in anybody's 4 teams to go to the playoffs now. But, you know, controversial calls, a intentional grounding that bounced off a defender but still called intentional grounding, and then 2 missed field goals, which pretty much lost Georgia the game. I'm going to go with Georgia to beat Troy, though. It's, you know, Troy is no South Carolina. Speaking of South Carolina, number 14 South Carolina gets to go to Vanderbilt, and they will kill them. Vanderbilt hasn't won yet. They're not going to get a win this week. Indiana at number 18, Missouri. Missouri shouldn't have a tough time with this one. So look out for a Missouri win over Indiana. Bowling Green at number 19, Wisconsin. Another Bowling Green should get bowled over. You love the puns, don't you? Virginia at number 21, BYU. Now BYU barely beat Houston in their Thursday night, I think it was Thursday night matchup last week. But I think Virginia's going to upset BYU in this one. Virginia has showed they almost beat UCLA week 1, and last week, I don't remember what they did, but it was a strong performance by Virginia. Yes, Virginia beat Louisville and knocked them out of the top 25. I like Virginia to knock BYU out of the top 25 this week. So Virginia stays on their hot streak. Miami of Florida at number 24, Nebraska. I'm liking Nebraska on this one. Miami's just, they haven't been as strong as they were in the past years, and Nebraska has come up in the top 25. So that's it for the top 25 picks. We now go to our quick picks, the unranked ACC SEC matchups. First off, Georgia Tech at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech coming off that upset at East Carolina. I think they'll get off that upset and get a win here. Iowa at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh gets a big win here. Maryland at Syracuse. Maryland with the lost to West Virginia, and I don't know what Syracuse did. I like Maryland. Tulane at Duke. Duke hadn't lost yet. I like Duke. Maine at Boston College. It should be easy. Boston College gets the win here. Louisville at FIU. FIU doesn't really stand a chance against anyone in any league. So Louisville wins. Army at Wake Forest. I like Wake Forest in this one. North Carolina, East Carolina. Even though East Carolina is coming off the big win against Virginia Tech, I like North Carolina over them. Presbyterian at NC State. I like North Carolina State over Presbyterian. And finally, the only unranked SEC game, North Illinois at Arkansas. Arkansas is a good team. They'll beat North Illinois easy. So that's it for Picks on the Bluffs College Week 4 coverage. I'll see you on the NFL Week 3 coverage. So until then, yeah, stay tuned.